Happy Tuesday, Boalia Desmond here. Thank you for tuning in. So it's another beautiful day here in Wisconsin. So I decided that I'm going to sit outside and I'm going to enjoy it. So I hope the volume is loud enough for you to hear. So today we're going to talk about multitasking. Now this is an article that came to us at work today. It's called, I think the magazine is called The Loop. So we get information sent to us, and today's is about multitasking. It's 3 surprising truths about multitasking. So let's face it, we all multitask, right? If you asked every one of us, we probably think we're masters at multitasking, and we think we have mastered it because we don't know how to do one single task at a time anymore, right? We think it's more productive for us to do more than one thing at a time. So this article talks about 3 surprising truths and how multitasking affects our work, our productivity, and also how it affects our brain. So when we are multitasking, we think we're being more productive, right? But to be quite honest, it's a little bit more distracting than we even can care to admit, right? It's so easy. You're doing one thing and then you're doing another thing, and pretty soon you're like, oh my gosh, another thought comes and you get distracted, and then you got to go back and concentrate on the thing that you really were doing in the first place. So yeah, how productive are we when we are constantly starting and stopping and starting and stopping because we're doing more than one thing at a time? And this is, I think, why I always think that the 15-minute blitzes can be so beneficial. Like if you set your timer for 15 minutes, you can get that thing done in a concentrated amount of time and then move to the next thing. Okay, and then it says it affects our work. So because we're so easily distracted, really how good is the quality of the work that you're doing? Because you're constantly doing, you're getting things just to get it done, right? Are you really focusing on how the quality of what you're doing really is? It says it really kind of affects that. Instead of doing too many things at once, if you can do one thing and focus on that thing, you can get it done, and the quality of that work is greater. And then this is how it affects our brain, because we're constantly telling our brain to switch between one thing to another. For example, for the people who watch TV, like I haven't watched TV in a long time. I haven't watched it in years, actually. People who watch TV, are you really just watching your screen, or are you doing a bunch of things in between? Like most of us would check social media while we're still watching TV. We're, hollering at our kids, maybe taking the dog out. I mean, we're doing all kinds of things, right? Never do we just come and kind of sit and do the one thing. Or even just, maybe you're making dinner. Like we're making dinner, we're doing dishes, we go to the refrigerator, we check things in the pantry, and then we check our phones. I mean, it's just a constant thing, right? It's just not one concentrated thing at a time. We're constantly bouncing between things. And it says that when we're forcing our brain to do all of that, it lowers the brain. We cause the brain to lower its ability to empathize and have both cognitive and emotional control. I'm going to say that again. It says multitasking can cause your brain to lower its ability to empathize and have both cognitive and emotional control. So really, we're kind of causing more harm than we are any good. We're kind of causing harm to our brains. But it says, here's the good news. The good news is just because we've been doing that doesn't mean we can't reverse it. Okay, we can reverse that. And how do we do that? By really just focusing on maybe 1 or 2 tasks at a time. And it said if you take a physical task and then mental task, it's better because you're really not using that much focus on the physical. But on the mental one, you want to focus, right? So you can do that and not multitasking every single day. Just taking, the time to do one quality task at a time. Finishing that task and then moving on to the next thing. Because what do we want to do? We want to preserve our brain health, right? So it says that if we can stop doing that and forcing our brain to think about so many different things at once, it can preserve our brain health in the long run. So again, slowing down to do one task at a time will help us to not be so easily distracted. Do the 15-minute blitzes. Those will help tremendously because it's 15 minutes of focused amount of time at once, and then you're going to focus on just that one thing, and then when your 15 minutes is up, you can reset the timer again, and you'll find that you're getting more things done than not. And then we want to preserve our brain, right? And then, too, the quality of our work will get better when we just focus on the one task. So I hope that helps. And I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Wealth Wednesday, so let's think about how we can be a blessing to somebody's life tomorrow.